to show you how to play the fundamentals and how to win what it takes to become a champion about Madden NFL 09. Whoa! What do you got?
It's a me! It's a Mario!
It's a me! It's a Mario! That isn't a game face, son. This is a game face! You tickle yourself. Do you know what I do with nerds like you who pee in my boot camp?
You let him change?
Yeah, go ahead, hurry up. Criticism of opponents' gaming skills is the cornerstone to trash talking, but you want to spice it up a little by discussing, for instance, ways you plan on violating their corpse once they're dead, questioning one's sexual orientation, and my favorite, implying intimate, genital knowledge of one's mother. It's a doozy. I just want you to go deep, go long. Can you do it?
Right now?
Yeah, fly, go. You can do it. Go. Open, I'm open. Go further, go ahead. Coach! Coach! Keep going. No, keep past the tree. Oh, look. Here it comes. God, I hate that guy. Corpse looting is one of the fundamental basics of level grinding. Let's see. Now this Murloc has a wallet and keys to a 97 Geo.
Today we review Resistance 2 and Guitar Hero World Tour.
Plus Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto reveals to us the future of Nintendo. X-Play starts now.
Hello and welcome to X-Play TV's most watched video game show. I'm Adam Sessler.
And I'm Morgan Webb. Now we're coming to you from the G4 Studios in Los Angeles on Wednesday, November 5th. Now, coming up, we review two of the year's biggest sequels. We have got the Chimera's Return in Resistance 2 for the PS3, and that one where you're a musical superhero, Guitar Hero World Tour.
Plus, we got some FaceTime with Nintendo Big Papa Shigeru Miyamoto and hear the latest on Nintendo's future. Then we go all access with the new Prince of Persia. We'll introduce you to Elika, the game's very competent and useful AI companion. But first, let's get today's top headlines in our gaming update.
Attention Halo Nation, the Flood are back. A recent gameplay preview for the upcoming Xbox 360 title, Halo Wars, has revealed new details regarding the game's main characters and campaign storyline. Most importantly, the video gives us our first look at the Halo Wars version of the Flood in action. Yes, in addition to the Covenant Horde, commanders will also have to fight their way through waves of the infected. During the demonstration, Graham Devine, the game's lead designer, demonstrates effective carpet bombing tactics and a new cryo bomb that temporarily freezes enemy units and exposes them to offensive attack. Next, Electronic Arts has confirmed that multiple sequels are in the works for some of their newest and biggest franchises. During a recent investor call, Electronic Arts CEO John Riccitiello confirmed that sequels are underway for both the parkour-inspired Mirror's Edge and the sci-fi survival horror title Dead Space. In addition, Riccitiello confirmed that Mercenaries 3 is, quote, definitely on the way. The CEO then added, if I can have anything to do with it, there will be a Mercenaries 10, end quote. Better get to work, pandemic. That's a pretty tall order. Now, finally, we're taking a look at what might be the most impressive user-created LittleBigPlanet level to date. A Japanese gamer who goes by the name RRR30,000 has posted a YouTube video showing off a fully playable playable version of Level 1 from Gradius. This detailed level includes an identical layout, a ship that fires lasers, an erupting volcano, and enemies seemingly ripped right out of the 8-bit era. There's even a boss battle that ends with an explosion followed up by a little fat boy who sticks out his tongue and points his fingers in the air. Well, if you see an amazing Little Big Planet level, send us a tip via our website, which is g4tv.com/xplay, which is also where you'll find all the latest news. Well, that's it for today's gaming update. Let's go over to Adam, who has been cleared of all charges of collusion with the Chimera.
Yeah, I just have 2 eyes, and they're not yellow. All right, Nathan Hale returns to defend the United States from the Chimera in Resistance 2. This time around, he's been promoted to lieutenant, which is a fitting reward for, I don't know, saving all of England. Find out how he fares in the colonies in this review of what's sure to be one of the biggest PS3 titles of the season. The theme of Resistance 2 is bigger and better. Virtually everything has been expanded or upgraded to give you even more of what you loved about the first game. You're still playing as Lieutenant Nathan Hale, who is mysteriously immune to the Chimeran threat. The story picks up directly after the events of the first game as you wander nearby Britain after saving the day.
Easy, Sergeant! It's harmless!
Hell of a way to greet a war hero. After you wake up, it's explained that you'll have to undergo some further testing to determine why you're immune to the scourge.
Survivors of Project Abraham undergo mandatory testing before entering the mainland. It's just protocol, Sergeant. Answers will come in due time.
But those answers have to wait while your Icelandic military base is attacked by the Chimera. And this conflict gives us the first glimpse at just how epic the battles will be in the rest of the game. How epic? Well, let's just say that later bosses make this enormous monstrosity look like an adorable Welsh corgi. From there, the game's narrative jumps forward 2 full years, and you're now in San Francisco. Yep, it's up to you to save the city, so that decades in the future, XPlay can tape our host raps at the Sony Metreon. But seriously, the Chimera are attacking the entirety of America, and it's up to you and your group of Sentinels to take them out. Quite possibly our favorite part of Resistance 2 is that they've made the wise decision to move the action out of gray-skied Europe. The change of pace allows for a wider palette of colors and a big improvement on the game's sense of variety. The art directors have crafted astonishingly beautiful landscapes of destruction. This is what Thomas Cole would have painted if he had lived to see a Jerry Bruckheimer movie. The game's pacing is also superb. Once the action kicks in, you truly feel drawn along by the narrative of Resistance 2. Few games really make you feel like you're part of an adventure, and this is one of them. The control system works wonderfully, and players will be happy to know that the weapons have also been improved. Gone are the more esoteric weapons of the first title, and players will be happy to know that the bullseye has been improved significantly. On the multiplayer side, the game features 60-person competitive play. That may sound like a lot, but the developers have wisely crafted Skirmish Mode, which teams you up into smaller groups with an ever-changing set of goals. The result is competitive multiplayer that's fun and doesn't feel overly frantic. But if you're conflict averse, you can join up with your friends online to play through specially crafted missions situated in settings of both Resistance 1 and 2. You'll play in groups of 8, and you can be a medic, a spec ops guy, or a soldier. We found all 3 to be well balanced and had a blast in the time we had with co-op. One of the few negatives to Resistance 2 is that it's sometimes possible to misunderstand certain directives given by your allies. That's because of the loud sound effects and other voice work being thrown around. But obviously, that's not a very major gripe. Good, let's move. This is the rare sequel that thoughtfully considers what was good about the first game and manages to make it even better. Resistance 2 is a 5.
The operation was a success.
Out of 5. One of the things we didn't address in the review that we obviously were talking about in the special was the scale. There are so many big things in this game.
Huge things that you fight, but the thing is, like, we actually didn't really want to show them to you in the review because part of the fun of this game is hearing something coming, not really being able to see it, and then finally seeing it and then just being floored by it. So showing people what that was?
Yeah, it would take away. There really is a moment in the Twin Falls, Idaho section that was one of the scariest things I've experienced in the game. The couch I was playing on moved about a good 6 inches, and that's a good barometer of how much I'm enjoying myself.
They can also get so many enemies on the screen. It's very impressive and terrifying.
And doubly so in the co-op, where they obviously have far more enemies. There is no perceptible drop in the quality of the visuals nor the frame rate. It's a very impressive tactical feat.
It is, with 8-player co-op, so many enemies on the screen. It's a lot of fun, you guys. If you have a PS3, you should really pick this one up.
Yes, and find 7 friends. Nintendo is obviously the crown prince of gaming at the moment, and with the Wii and DS printing money at an alarming rate, it would make sense that their next step would be world domination via some sort of motion control super laser. But according to their game guru, Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo has other, less megalomaniacal plans for the future. He reveals all in this exclusive FaceTime.
He's the father of modern video games. He's also the man behind the enormous success of the Wii. He's the man with the plan. So when he speaks of the future of Nintendo, we listen, and so should you.
Well, there's actually, I think, there's 2 things that we can do to keep people playing games, and of course, one of those is, as we've done with Wii and with many other games that you've seen on the Wii, it's our job to continue to try to find these unique themes or these unique ideas that other people might not think of as being possible to create a video game around. But we've managed to do that with a number of different projects. And if we can continue to find these types of ideas or topics that might be relevant to a broader audience of people,
in other words, don't continue to only develop games and consoles marketed towards core gamers.
Say, for example, your father, or for example, my wife. Now we see people playing video games who even just a few years ago would never have thought that video games were something that were relevant to them.
Easier said than done. How does he expect to accomplish that?
We continue to surprise people who still don't necessarily see video games as something relevant to them, but perhaps with the next new idea, all of a sudden they will become interested.
Miyamoto's second point of strategy comes into play later.
The other thing I think that we have to look at is with those people who are playing video games for the first time now, your dad, my wife, what can we do taking a look and say past genres or past styles of gameplay that we've seen in past generations? How can we reinvent those in a way that those people who are new to gaming now will look at them in a new light and say, oh, well, that's something else I might be interested in.
Imagine a world where you come home after a hard day at school or work only to find that grandma's hogging the Wii because she's addicted to Metroid. This just very well may be your future if Shigeru Miyamoto has his way. Buckle in.
Later tonight, G4 brings you Bruce Lee's kung fu masterpiece, Enter the Dragon. The film also features a lowly stuntman by the name of Jackie Chan. It's all part of movies that don't suck. All you have to do is watch. Catch Enter the Dragon tonight at 10 on G4. Check out g4tv.com/movies for details.
Coming up on X-Play, one of gaming's biggest franchises is back and ready to make your fingers bleed. We'll review Guitar Hero World Tour and let you know if the new set list and instruments please the gods of rock. Plus, we go all access with a fresh take on a classic series. Get ready for the all-new Prince of Persia with our in-depth look at the game's AI co-star as well as the revamped combat system. All that and more right after this.
Welcome back to X-Play. Guitar Hero World Tour has a huge lineup of songs. Ted Nugent is a boss, but most importantly, new instruments. You can drum, you can sing, but my question is, where's my guitar? Well, despite this glaring omission, this is one World Tour you'll want to take.
Who's ready for a Jimmy Eat Corn, Stone, Sting, Smashing Pistols, Rage Against the Queen, Foo Fighting Nirvana-thon, baby? Guitar Hero World Tour is done sound checking and is ready to turn your living room into the greatest show on earth. The guitars in World Tour feature a button and touch-sensitive strip for more detailed emulation. Guitar players get all the glory, but World Tour makes the bass a groove-worthy option. Hammering the touch strip gives you a funky slap technique, for example. For the shred-preaching priests of the polymer pulpit, the touch strip offers entrance to the House of Hammer-On. This includes moments when you'll need to trace a wavy line along the neck. It's a more living guitar system, which includes awkward moments when a broken string forces you to improvise during showdowns. Drums also have more realistic depth. The heads are solid rubber. This gives the player plenty of bounce for rolls. This urges you to play the drums rather than simply trigger them. You'll be able to select a 6-song set list so you don't have to meander through menus to trigger another track. Another impressive feature in World Tour is the Song Creation Studio. Here you'll find everything you need to create your own playable super hit. Kate Moss not included. Lay down beats, tweak your sound with the Line 6-tone emulator, map out solos, generate chords. Beginning users can connect to Guitar Hero tunes. These are tracks created by more advanced users and can be downloaded free. The interface of the studio will make creating music enjoyable and is a good learning tool in terms of real music creation. World Tour is a star-studded affair, featuring Rock Regency resplendent in motion capture detail. Look, Ozzy's giving you that I'm gonna chow on your throat with my gnarly teeth look. Better play better. Guitar duels with rock greats like Ted Nugent and Zakk Wylde are great challenges. Both actually supplied original tracks for the game. Career mode seemed bland, let's face it, you just want to rock. Boss battles got a little annoying, and what's with all the loading screens? But this game's got depth you'll enjoy, bringing you close to a feeling of actual music making. Like a power chord belched from the bowels of a fat stack of amps. A 4 out of 5.
When X Play returns, we'll find out all about the new combat system in Prince of Persia. Here's a hint, it probably involves acrobatics. But before we go, test your skills with a Z on this trivia question.
What year did Activision acquire the Guitar Hero franchise? Is the answer A, 2005, B, 2006, or C, 2007? We'll have the answer right after the break. Yeah.
G4X Play.
Before the break, we asked you this question. What year did Activision acquire the Guitar Hero franchise? The answer is B, 2006. Guitar Hero 2 for the 360 was the first game in the series published by Activision.
Welcome back to X-Play. Now, the new Prince of Persia introduces us to Elika, a beautiful yet deadly companion that has your back in the most dangerous of fights. We caught up with Prince of Persia producer Ben Mattis and game designer Thomas Delbouguet, who took us through the game mechanics and combat system showcased in this high-altitude adventure.
Our world, from a level design, from a gameplay point of view, was especially designed to support this idea, which is open world but not sandbox. The level design is purposely bottlenecked to ensure that you have that absolutely crucial Prince of Persia rhythm and flow, so that when you're moving your way through the world between these choice points, you're in that Zen experience of just getting absorbed into it, and you're not having to think about what button do I press and what do I do.
And with new experiences comes a new method of combat.
So the first thing that we can notice that's new in the combat is that it's a one-on-one type of system. Well, two-on-one if you include Elika. This is a pretty big departure compared to the other Prince of Persias, because the previous games, it was always a multi-fight system. We decided to streamline a lot of the controls and not have the player memorize an entire branch of combo strings, and have a lot more permissive combo branching system where the player could pretty much decide in what order they want to push the buttons, and some cool action will happen, basically. Well, some of the new moves that we have in the combat are, well, the prince has a gauntlet. He could use that gauntlet to lift the enemy up into the air, and once the enemy's in the air, Elika and the prince can juggle him. Elika. Elika is a big part of the new combo, so she does magic-based attack, and she really helps you to chain and build up your combo sequence.
Playing smart will enable you to adapt to oncoming attacks and ultimately become a more complete player.
A tip that would definitely help a new player coming into this new Prince of Persia adventure is to unlearn a lot of things they know about classic combat games. We've really developed a system that rewards patience and being defensive, and I think players will find better enjoyment if they decide to be calm, block, and then seize the opportunities for attacks.
Tomorrow on X-Play, one of the year's biggest, most talked about games is finally here. Grab your Lancer and get ready for the fight of your life. Marcus, Dom, and a whole load of locusts will battle for survival in Gears of War 2. And you don't want to miss our no-holds-barred review. Plus, Cliff Bleszinski returns to chronicle the rise and fall of Britney Spears in a very special edition of Cliff Notes. Then, Kristen Holt will have a LittleBigPlanet cheat for you that will have your Sackboy jumping for joy. And we exclusively go hands-on with Demigod, the new RTS that's unlike anything you've ever played before. The action starts at 8. Don't miss it.
All right, exciting. But up next, a second helping of X-Play.
See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.